Hey welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. And where are you today? Where are we talking to you out of?
I'm still at the office in Prao, Chiang Mai. Yeah.
Cool. Prao, which is, for our audience that don't know, Prao is, well, you said Prao Chiang Mai, but it's a few hours from Chiang Mai, right?
Right, like to the north of Chiang Mai. So it's like a district. Yeah,
Cool. And that's where the work with Warm Heart is, yeah?
correct.
Cool. Well, look, there's a bit to talk about. Obviously, biochar, farmers, the work you do. I think just as a quick intro, it'd be great just to tell our audience a bit about yourself, what you do, how you ended up with Warm Heart, up there in Prao.
Yeah, it's quite a long story though. So I start work with Biochar since 2011. And because I born in here in Prao. I grew up here. One day I decided that I want to see the world, so I was an au pair in America. I came back and I saw a huge smoke, like PM 2.5 going on in my town. And so shocked and curious what's going on. And it turned out that a lot of people around here burning more stuff, especially is the waste from agriculture. So, it started from that. I did some research with volunteer at Warm Heart. I still, work with Warm Heart. I found out that the way to prevent from PM 2.5 is you can make compost or you can do biochar. So I did try both, and the compost is not really worked out. And so that's how I started and end up with the biochar project since 2011.
So a fair few years, so 12 years. So just for not everyone, I think, although you and I talk about PM 2.5 every day, and actually I think anyone who lives in the north of Thailand has been exposed to the agricultural burning and the awful kind of air that we end up dealing with for a couple of months a year. But do you want to just explain it in a bit more detail? A lot of people may not have heard of PM 2.5, don't know what it is and how it relates to smoking. Why does this issue exist in the first place, that we obviously deal with here in Thailand?
Yeah, I think because of the demand for food production get increasing, and that's make people more growing animal food. Yeah, it's corn basically. So I see that people turn from growing soybean, rice into corn and burn and expand the land in the forest. And now it cannot come back to a big tree or to be a forest again. So they keep doing corn and they burn it every year.
And so when you say they burn, you're talking about the local farming communities, right, that are growing corn. Is it just farming communities? Is it wider? I don't know Prao. Obviously I know, or at least in terms of the burning, I know it from the region I live in. But yeah, how widespread is the burning? Is it lots of different people doing it? Is it just kind of the farming communities that we need to kind of change the behavior of, or how widespread?
It's a lot. I mean, the number of corn growing is 100 rye per district, but it's not only from corn that get burned. All the waste like longan branches, bamboo, or even macadamia shell, the leaf along the road. And this recent year, it's kept a big burn from forest area. But it's not natural fire. It's a fire from people, from human. Yeah, so
Cool.
bad.
It is bad, and we deal with it obviously every year. But I mean, that's, I suppose, biochar is maybe not the answer to all of the burning, but certainly it's the answer to some of it. Talk to us about biochar. What is it? How does it help? I know there's a lot in there, but talk to us about biochar and how the farmers you work with can use it and create it.
Yeah, okay. So for biochar, it's more vesicles, like you can see actually, like, the biochar. And the idea is if I cannot ask them to stop burning, then how to convince them burn properly, not open field burn and just, get everything burned and create smoke, create PM2.5. So we come up with a design of different kill that we call, kill, and give them awareness, train them how they can burn in this kill, prevent from, all smoke and climate change also. And then after that, they will have biochar at the end. I suggest them, convince them to use the biochar, and we have seen the result that biochar it's really help to fix the soil structure and also absorb water. The year I start, it's the year that we face with drought, like no water. But when they add biochar before, so they have like comparison with their neighbor, and that's, it's the word of people start talking about it, so people pay attention and continues from that.
I think it's interesting when people first hear about biochar. I think one of the confusing things is you're teaching someone to
burn,
to stop someone burning. Do you want to just explain that in a bit more detail? You were using the word, so obviously there's a particular type of kiln that's needed, but that for me I think is one of the things that people struggle to get their mind around, because we're saying, hey, we teach farmers to burn so they stop burning, right? But it's obviously quite different, and the process is very important.
So like to make biochar, it's different from open field burning. Okay, let's imagine here 100 kilogram of longan wood set on the side, and the owner come and light the fire and just burn it. Everything burn, and that will create like 100% of air pollution. I walk in and say, look, the next pile is still the 100 kilogram of longan, and this is the kill, trough, tilot, we call kontiki, and show them how they should put the biomass in the kiln and light the fire. But this kiln is limited oxygen and it's control the heat, so the biomass will go through pyrolysis system, basically just release out the water, the moisture, and some gas. And then they will see the black thing like in the kiln, and that is the biochar. And they have to dose the fire out by water or find something to close on the top of the kiln, like no air come in until it cool down. They will have the black thing in the kiln, and that is biochar.
Of course. So a completely different process, obviously, to just burning fields and the restriction of oxygen and the high temperature, and then creating, an output, which is biochar. How challenging is it to get farmers to adopt this process? Is it easy? Does it depend? So when you work with a new community, obviously most of your work to date that you've done has been in Thailand, and I know you've been to Africa, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But how difficult is it working with new farmers that have not had any exposure to, creating biochar from crop waste? Is it easy to convince them? Does it take time? What are some of the challenges with the process?
I do have some challenges with the new farmer, but it's not so difficult to convince them to learn and make it. The big challenges is they have to invest on time and also some equipment to to manage the biomass they have. Because when, like each of farmer, they have like massive of biomass, and somehow they don't have budget to buy kill, enough kill, even they want to do it. And also it take so many days for them to to turn that biomass into biochar. So they might learn how to do it, but they do not continue to do it because it's no other intensive for them to do. That's the big challenge.
And you mentioned earlier about some farmers seeing, because obviously there's the benefits with, mixing biochar with soil, using it as a fertilizer rather than, produced fertilizers. And do you find the farmers, that is a real motivation for them, and then you're seeing other farmers that will learn from that process and want to create biochar?
Yeah, but just a few of them. But this is only in Thailand that I see that. But because when I was in Africa last year, it's totally different. So I think it's different design and method. When the farmer in Thailand doesn't want to do biochar themselves, doesn't mean they don't want to use biochar. We decide to do a service for them. So we send the team to make biochar on their side and, give them biochar to use. And they are happy about that.
What is that? Well, actually, let's talk about it. You mentioned Africa and the differences, and I know you head there pretty soon, right? For a few months to work with the teams down there, which I know you're excited about.
I will be there in 2-3 days, actually. Yeah.
Really? That soon? And how long are you going to be down there for?
8 months.
8 months. So and you've been before, obviously. It's not completely new, but talk to us about what are some of the differences when you're working with the villages, with those communities in Africa? You're still working with smallholder farmers. There are obviously some similarities, but it sounds like it's also quite different. What are some of the differences in terms of working with those communities in Africa?
Yeah, okay. So in Africa, they grow monocrop. It's corn, and they have smaller size of land and more labor on the family. They want to do biochar themselves from the biomass they have, and they want to use biochar themselves, don't want to share. I think like in Africa, it's also that they see value of biochar to prevent from like drying land, the soil. It's more worse in Thailand. Like this condition of soil is not good. So they need like a lot of biochar to absorb water in Africa. Yeah.
And that's something that they recognize. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, and also what I saw is that like the result that we get in Africa, it's higher yield from normal like they have done in the past. Yeah. We have a good evidence.
Yeah, a better return in terms of the amount of biochar from biomass, you mean, or the amount of carbon removed?
The vegetable or the corn, the maize they grow, they get higher yield.
Right. Oh, I see. A higher yield from the crops that they grow from when they mix the biochar with the soil afterwards. Mm-hmm. And what about the, obviously there is a business model around this, and that's what we do in terms of being able to help monetize this and make sure actually we can scale it much further. The farmers can, earn something from it financially as well as, benefiting from increased crop yields. How much is that a motivation? Do you see the impact in, the lives of these communities, both in Thailand and in Africa, in terms of, the use of biochar, the economic elements to it? Are there success stories, things you've seen with the communities that you've worked with?
Wow, I hear like the effective on economic every month, from Thailand, from Africa also. I create like training center in Thailand, and some of them do not participate on carbon credit market, but they make biochar and they do potting soil, they do compost themselves, and they're successful. They sell it by themselves. Or even the production member on our team, who do the service, go to the field and make biochar. They do earn, some money from doing that, and that's money paid for their kid to school. They have money to go to for like to pay the health insurance. Yeah, that is like basic need for their life, which is they don't have before. Yeah.
That's something you've seen in both Africa and in Thailand in terms of the work, yeah?
Both, yes. And that's good because it also motivate me to keep doing work also, because I think from the person who work on social issue, sometimes it's really like straight out, and you burn out really fast and really easy. But when you hear that, there are people who benefit from it, even from economic point of view or environmental point of view. So it's motivate me to, okay, let's charge the battery, go to work.
What are I mean, you may have just said that then, but talk to me about the enjoyment you get from the work you do, the motivation, what gets you up in the morning, what makes you smile when you kind of go to bed at night in terms of doing this work. What are the things that you really love about it?
I want to see they smile, people, and like when I go out and I talk to them, like, how you doing today, and they share me, sometimes it's not like a positive thing. I mean, like they also have the life, what do you call, like struggling things. But I think it's good to see that I'm still in this mechanism to make a movement for next generations. They earn more income for their family. I do this job, and yes, I get paid some, and I can support my family and my children, and that's motivate me like every day. Someday it's just like burn out, then relax, take a break for a night. Tomorrow you will see a message from them in Line group or in WhatsApp group that they are checking in on the field. I'm start working. Will you come today? Okay. Yeah.
Cool. It's and I mean, you touched on it there, but technology is a big part of this process now, right? I mean, actually, considering you will have seen a lot of changes in the 12 years. I would imagine when you go back to kind of the first training sessions or the first, work you did to today. You just talked about you wake up and look at a line group, but what do you see as the role of technology now, and how important is it, and how has it changed over the years in terms of managing these processes?
The technology has helped a lot, especially the transparency thing, because before, like, if I have to go to the site like every day, every hour, it's a lot of travel. But when we start using the field out, the first pilot, the test IO before, test IO and then field out. So I see that when the first time people refuse it, they're like, no, it's not gonna work. We can't use the technology. We don't have phone. That's the same when I introduce biochar to them. That cannot work, But so I don't trust them on that. So I say, okay, never mind. If you don't think it's not gonna work, fine. But just at least. So they try it. We see that people start entry data in. I can review. We can talk more often when they have their friends want to learn. I don't have to create training session for them. So just invite into the group. I provide video, and I follow up like, as have you watched this? What do you think? And then they go back. They take some video and send it back to me. I review it. So it's spread out like faster than without technology. And right now, because we work with the PV app, the Plant Village app, this is more like transparency because it's real time. You know exactly where they make biochar, and you know where exactly biochar is going with the, like the system to follow up. And we know that like every day, how many people it's making biochar and how many people it's using biochar.
Yeah, sure.
So
It's a big change. Like, yeah, I mean, and actually, of course, I don't know if you've had any exposure to AI recently. We're not really, well, the Plant Village app uses AI, but I think AI over the next kind of decade, we will see even more changes. And as more of these farming communities as well, at the moment we have verifiers, but they are people within the community, right? In terms of our teams, the teams you work with are people within the village community, yeah? The verifiers, the people that collect the data.
I think AI is really good assistant, but still AI cannot replace humans, especially on emotional side. AI probably don't understand the context where the farmer are, because we work with different community and each of them have different story and different goal. Yeah, so can help to prove picture or the work, but I don't think AI can do like relationship management.
That's very true. You never know. It might be able to in the future, but definitely not now.
Not yet.
So
Yeah.
cool. So look, you're off to Africa in a few days. How do people? I think one of the great things is people being able to kind of get a window into the work you do, the work we do in terms of on the ground, and maybe we can get some content shared when you're there with the villages. But how can people follow you, learn more about Warm Heart, about yourself, maybe even keep up to date? Do you share content when you're out there in the villages in Africa? Are there places that people can follow you online and keep in touch?
No, I keep my privacy as a privacy, but I do share my work to the team, and my PR team will work on that, and we will share it on Biochar Life website and also on the Warm Heart Worldwide website.
Cool. Sounds good. Good. I will leave those links in there, and if people want to connect with you directly, I'll also leave your LinkedIn
Okay.
profile. So cool. Well, thanks for joining, and have a great journey. It sounds like you're gonna enjoy the work down in Africa. Where are you going to be in Africa?
Kenya, Uganda, Gambia, Liberia, Tanzania, and then I'll come back to Kenya. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to meet the Kenya member, and I don't know, future audience who are listening now want to catch up. Yeah, just contact.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, we'll capture some content from your trip, and let's maybe do another podcast at some point down the track to catch up on how it all went. So cool.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Matt.
Cheers on. Bye.